attention, we'll go ahead and get our meeting called to order. It's good to see all of you this afternoon. I do want to remind you that we have copies of our agenda that are here on the podium, and you are certainly welcome to grab one of those and follow along. On the back of the agenda is a decorum for our city council meetings. Tonight we'll be having several public hearings and several alcohol license hearings. We will be just hearing the information this evening. Tomorrow at 5:30 in this room, we will be discussing what we hear tonight. So tonight is just for informational purposes only. We do have some exciting news that we'll be swearing in two of our council members in just a few minutes, and that's going to be done by Judge Chad Van Orman. So Chad, we'll turn that over to you in just a second. But feel free to grab those agenda items there. Is that all? Do we need some more? We are at capacity, so what we're asking people to do is remain in the hallway or in the foyer of the City Hall, lobby of City Hall. And then if you'd like to, once your particular item on the agenda has been heard, if you'd like to step outside so that other people can come in, we would appreciate that. All right, I'm going to ask Judge Van Orman if you will start our meeting by swearing in Councilmember Josh Reynolds and Councilmember Lester Kramer Jr. So I'll turn it over to you, Chad. I think he's going to do one at a time.
You're down here first. So.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Kramer, if you'll just stand over there for just a minute, please.
Can I take the oath on the Bible, sir?
Yes, sir. If you'll just raise your right hand, and if you'll just repeat after me. I, Josh Reynolds,
I, Josh Reynolds,
a citizen of the city of Tifton, Georgia,
a citizen of the city of Tifton, Georgia,
and being a public official of the city of Tifton,
and being a public official of the city of Tifton,
and the recipient of public funds
and the recipient of public funds
for services rendered,
for services rendered,
do hereby solemnly swear and affirm
do hereby solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States,
of the United States,
the Constitution of Georgia,
the Constitution of Georgia,
and the Charter of the city of Tifton,
and the Charter of the city of Tifton,
and that I will faithfully perform
and that I will faithfully perform
my duties as council member of this city.
my duties of council member of the city.
I am not the holder
I am not the holder
of any unaccounted for public money
of any unaccounted for public money
due this state
due this state
or any political subdivision
or any political subdivision
or authority thereof.
or authority thereof.
I am not the holder
I am not the holder
of any office of trust
of any office of trust
under the government of the United States,
of the government of the United States,
any other state,
any other state,
or any foreign state,
or any foreign state,
which by the laws of the state of Georgia,
which by the laws of the state of Georgia,
I am prohibited from holding,
I am prohibited from holding,
and I am otherwise qualified
and I am otherwise qualified
to hold said office
to hold said office,
according to the Constitution and laws of Georgia.
according to the Constitution and laws of Georgia,
As the elected representative from District 1
as the elected representative of District 1
of the city of Tifton,
of the city of Tifton,
I swear
I swear
that I have been a resident thereof
that I have been a resident thereof
for the time required
for the time required
by the Constitution
by the Constitution
and the laws of the state
and the laws of the state
and the city charter of the city of Tifton.
and the city charter of the city of Tifton.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Reynolds, you can have you sign here. Give you a pen. You have one. This is one.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Josh.
That's fine.
All right, Josh, if you'll have your family members.
All right. Guys, you want to come sit too?
Here's a mic if you want to introduce them to you. Certainly can.
That's fine. Okay, everybody, I'd like to introduce you to my family. This is my beautiful wife, Leanne, my daughter, Lola, my son, Landon, my son Jackson, and my son Jace. And hopefully they are very proud this evening as I am. And therefore, I'll be turning the mic back over to you, Pete.
Thank you. Well done.
Mr. Cromer, if you'll just raise your right hand and place your hand on the Bible. And if you'll repeat after me. I, Lester Cromer Jr.,
I, Lester Cromer Jr.,
a citizen of the city of Tifton, Georgia,
a citizen of the city of Tifton, Georgia,
and being a public official
being a public official
of the city of Tifton
of the city of Tifton
and the recipient
and the recipient
of public funds
of public funds
for services rendered,
for services rendered,
do hereby
do hereby
solemnly swear and affirm
solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support
that I will support
and defend
and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States,
of the United States,
the Constitution
the Constitution
of Georgia,
of Georgia,
and the Charter of the City of
and
Tifton,
the charter of the city of Tifton,
and that I will faithfully perform my duties
and that I will faithfully perform my duties
as council member of this city.
as council member of this city.
I am not the holder
I am not the holder
of any unaccounted for public money,
of any accounted for public money, unaccounted
Yep. Of any unaccounted
of
for
any unaccounted for
public money due this state
due this state
or any political subdivision
or any political subdivision
or authority thereof.
or authority thereof.
I am not the holder of
I am not the holder of
any office of trust
any office of trust
under the government
under the government
of the United States,
of the United States,
any other state,
any other state,
or any foreign state,
or any foreign state,
which by the laws
which by the laws
of the state of Georgia,
of the state of Georgia
I am prohibited from holding.
I am prohibited from holding,
And I am otherwise qualified
and I am otherwise qualified
to hold said office
to hold said office
according to the Constitution
according to the Constitution
and laws of Georgia.
and laws of Georgia.
As the elected representative
As the elected representative
from District 3
from District 3
of the city of Tifton,
of the city of Tifton,
I swear
I swear
that I have been a resident thereof
that I have been the resident thereof
for the time required
for the time required
by the Constitution
by the Constitution
and the laws
and the laws
of the state
of the state
and its city charter
and its city charter
of the city of Tifton.
of the city of Tifton.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you. Congratulations.
I'm not going to introduce. Yeah. Can I get Scott, Kim? Yeah. Where's Valerie? No? Hello, everyone. Here I am, legendary father, Lester Cromer Sr., my cousin Gwen Chaney, and my cousin Kim Walker. They both raised me, so. All right.
Lester and Josh, I know I speak on behalf of Councilman Folk and Councilman Hall when I say welcome. We are very excited about your participation in your community, and the three of us look forward to working with you and working together to make Tifton the best that we can be. So congratulations and thank you for your service to our community. So we're very grateful. Any other comments you'd like to make before we get our meeting started?
Just ready. Let's get to work.
There you go. I love it.
I just want to say I want to thank my family and my friends for coming out and supporting me. And I just want to say I thank you for my Lord and Jesus Christ for making this opportunity available.
Thank you. All right. Thank you very much. All right. We have called our meeting to order, and you do have a copy of the agenda before you. And I will take a motion at this point to approve the agenda as presented, or if there are any changes, we'll take those. Okay. Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? I'm sorry, Jessica, what was that? That MJ made the motion to approve the agenda, and then Lester Seconded the motion. It was approved unanimously. All right, I do want to remind everyone that tonight we'll just be hearing information in our public hearings. We have 2 zoning public hearings and then 2 alcohol public hearings. If you would like to come back tomorrow evening at the same time, 5:30 in this room, we will be discussing what we hear tonight. So tonight is just for information purposes only. So I'm going to call on Crystal, who works with our Community Development Department, to start the public hearing. Or is that Jessica? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay.
First one is going to be application PP 21-052. This was received from Nelson Coons, representing Right Click LLC, requesting to rezone approximately 39.66 acres located on King Road from residential R20 to general business GB. That's the parcel number I don't even know why I said Z, 0046046. The procedures for our public hearings and the zoning powers are located on our website, if anybody would like to view those. This is Attorney I gotta say. All right, and so the first off, we're just going to ask the council the conflict of interest questions to determine if they're eligible to participate in the hearing and hear this zoning matter. So council, based on this application title that I just read, have any of the applicants or opponents to the application contributed at least $250 to any of your campaigns for election during the past 2 years?
No.
Do you or any member of your family have property interests that would be affected by the proposed rezoning or reclassification of their property, whether in a positive or negative impact?
No.
Do you or any members of your family have a financial interest in any business entity that has a property interest in any real property that would be affected by the proposed rezoning or reclassification of the property, whether it is a positive or negative impact?
No.
Okay. All council members are eligible to participate in the hearing. Crystal's going to come up and give a review of the zoning matter and application before us, and then we will have public comment. The first people that we would call up after she speaks would be those in favor.
Can we remove our mask while speaking, or do we need to keep them on while speaking?
Yeah, I'm okay with you removing it while speaking. I think that would be helpful for just clarity, so.
Just make sure
I
the
think-
public would
I
know.
think that would be fine, Crystal.
Thanks.
And to those that are in the lobby, we do have a couple of seats that have opened up, so if any of you would like to come in, particularly if you're here concerning this first zoning hearing, so that you can hear the information that's being presented.
Have a seat, it's fine. Give it just a second, or should I go ahead?
Let's wait just 1 second. We've still got some folks coming in.
These are available right here, all these. Thank you.
Now that the Reynolds plan has been
Yeah, talk to Vanny good. I'm sure they'll get one.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Stephen, is there anyone else that wants to come in? We've got plenty of seats open now, so, okay. Okay. Okay, Crystal, I think we're ready. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, good evening. I come to you with a recommendation of approval from the Planning and Zoning Commission. The commission met on December 13th, 2021, reviewed the application, and recommended approval. Before we take public comment, I would like to review the details of the rezoning application. Application number PP210052 concerning parcel number 0046040. The site address is King Road, and the current zoning is split zoning with general business and R20 for the parcel. The requested zoning is general business. The applicant is Nelson Coons on behalf of the owner, Right Click LLC. The proposed development for the property, there are no official development plans yet. The potential buyer is considering professional retail development along King Road and business park for professionals on the back acres of the tract. The current use, the parcel is undeveloped. It's agricultural property with many pecan trees on the property currently. Next slide. The parcel currently has a split zoning designation. This is a parcel with 2 or more zoning designations on the same parcel. The area of the parcel along King Road is designated general business, while the remaining portion of the property is zoned R20. Next slide. This is a zoomed out view of the zoning of the parcel. You'll see along 2nd Street and King Road, the majority of the parcels with road frontage are zoned general business. Next slide. Thank you. The request is consistent with the comprehensive plan as the entire parcel is located within the urban commercial corridor character area. Next slide. Lastly, there was a discussion at the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting regarding buffers. If this rezoning request is granted, there would be a required 20-foot buffer between the general business parcel and the residential parcels behind it. Thank you. Jessica.
So we heard the details of the application. Is there anyone that would like to speak in favor of the application? When you come up, just state your name and your address so we can have that.
Good evening. My name is Nelson Coons. I'm the owner of Coons Real Estate and Appraisals. I'm the broker on this transaction. I'm also speaking on behalf of the family who could not come. A little history on this property. This has been in the same family for a long, long time, and it's been pecan orchard. This property that we're talking about does not have any improvements on it, so that's clarified some questions that I've had earlier. Since the property's been listed for sale for, I'm thinking 4 years, we haven't had any people that would want, I've only had it for about a year, but prior to my involvement, there's been no interest in the entire parcel. We've had, some people kind of ask around on some of the front pieces, but I think some of the rear zoning is, holding back some potential buyers. So I'll say I do understand concerns from neighbors. I don't think that they should think any differently than they do, but I do know the buyer of this transaction. I know Mr. Stafford. I would say I've known him for about 10 years. He's a customer and a friend, and I have had the opportunity to see some of his developments outside of Tifton, which I think the developments in Tifton, support the fact that, I think he's a good steward of Tifton. So, as far as, I would say the negative sides that I hear, that I've heard from the neighbors is traffic. And I cannot say that there will not be more traffic when you develop a parcel. But this parcel is on a major arterial road, and it is already zoned general business, but it's kind of got a really odd zoning shape that's not really a positive thing for the property. And so this purchase is, contingent on getting the zoning passed. And I'll say that I do not foresee the negative, I guess, what I've heard about property values going down from a neighbor standpoint. I haven't seen anything that Mr. Stafford's done that would cause me to think that what he decides to do down the road is going to be detrimental to the neighbors. I'm not saying I have a crystal ball or anything like that, but I will say that the things that I've seen Mr. Stafford do in the past has not contributed to any negative property values. So, you know, we don't have a plan. I can't tell you exactly what's going to happen, but I can tell you that when Mr. Stafford does something, it's first class. And, you know, there's always the other side of the coin where, you know, I am representing the owners, and the owners have, you know, a lot riding on this. This is, you know, a big deal to them. So, you know, I hope you take that in consideration as well as the other people that come up and talk. Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak in favor of the application?
Mayor and Councilman, thank you for this opportunity. My name is Deneen Stafford, and I reside at 4702 Woodland Drive in Tifton, Georgia. And my company is Stafford Capital Resources. And as you probably know, several years ago, I sold our family business and kind of got through that part of my life, and now I'm semi-retired, and I don't much like the retirement side of it. And I'm looking for some things to do and put to use my my talents in the developing field, mainly retail development and office development. The owners of this property I have known for years, and they over the years, they said one day we'll sell this property, and that time has come. But you know, it's dependent on this zoning and to get this done. And I'm not a residential developer. We've developed retail, and we've developed office in the southeastern United States, Orlando and Atlanta and Charlotte and countless other communities. But I think this is a great piece of property. No, I do not have a development plan, but that will come obviously sooner rather than later if I'm successful in purchasing the property. But I plan on retail and on the King Road frontage, and then a business complex or business park on the back acreage. Those are my initial plans, and that's all I have to say. And but I appreciate this time very much. Thank you.
Anyone else interested in speaking in favor of the application? Okay. Anyone wishing to speak in opposition of the application?
Hey, my name is Karen Harris Schultz. I live on Westfield Woods, 2003 Melba Drive, right across from Annieville. Westfield Woods has been having trouble the last few months. We've been showing up to a lot of city council meetings. First, we had to deal with the massive apartment complex approval on Wooden Mill. How will that affect our neighborhood? Hundreds of new residents driving through our neighborhood will really impact it, and so it's been really hard to be a Westfield Woods resident. We hope for the best. We pray for the best. We thank the developer for flipping the apartment complexes in the other direction. We hope it'll improve. We've heard from many of our residents saying that they're leaving our neighborhood because they're scared. They're worried about the increased traffic, only to see in our newspaper a new rezoning of King Drive, now the other side of our neighborhood. Commercial business. This will impact our neighborhood again. More traffic, more people We believe in that neighborhoods should stay neighborhoods for the safety of our residents, our children, and just the pleasantness of our environment. So please think about where you live. How do you like to live? Do you want to live like we are going to live? Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Sarah Spinks Hand. I live at 1702 Slack Drive. And if you'll notice, I'm directly across from the pecan orchard, along with my husband, our 2 dogs, and our 3-year-old daughter. And I'm going to echo Ms. Schultz. How would you feel if that was your family that was going to be monitoring and dealing with a significant amount of increased traffic in that area? Not to mention, our friends and family and our neighbors that have their kids as well. And I understand that it's kind of a 2 zoning request, kind of the front parcel and the back parcel. And I understand it's already zoned for general business in the front. My specific concern is the back parcel, the pecan orchard as I'll refer to it. Redeveloping that as classifying it as general business has the potential to attract large amounts of traffic through our neighborhood. And this will definitely adversely affect and influence our conditions as residents. Additional traffic means a decrease in the walkability of the area, which so many of us enjoy, those of us with young children, those of us with dogs, those of us on our bikes. It also means a decrease in home property value for residents. There's going to be increased activity that detracts from the quality of life we can enjoy. There will be increased noise as well that takes away from the quiet appeal which our neighborhood has maintained for decades. Depending on what types of businesses are established at this site, the busyness of the area could increase during the day and evening. Rezoning the area as general business provides too much flexibility in the types of business that might be established. While the developer has stated only professionally oriented entities will be located here, that is not a legally binding statement which ensures or maintains the residential nature of our neighborhood. It does not guarantee that in the future the property would be held to the same standards as a residential professional zoning designation would provide. I'm not asking to avoid all development in that property in our area, but I am asking for developers and the city council to consider those of us who work and live in that area and how these plans and others already in the works can negatively affect us and our families. Instead of a general business zoning, I ask the property be considered for residential professional zoning to maintain a compatible mix of businesses alongside our neighborhood. While the Westfield Woods neighborhood is not within the city limits, it is surrounded by districts 2 and 3. The rezoning proposal will negatively impact those residents, along with many other city and county residents that travel up and down King Road and Windmill Road. I ask the City Council to remand the rezoning request to the Planning and Zoning Commission so that the application may be altered to a residential professional zoning instead of general business. Once again, I thank you for your time and your consideration. And please, like I said, just think about those of us that are established in this area and how drastically this would change our everyday lives, just leaving for work, trying to make a left turn out of either direction of Bowen Marchant. Thank you again.
Anyone else would like to speak in opposition?
Hello, Mayor, rest of your group. My name is Jeff Klingenberg. I'm at 803 Bowen Marchant Road. That's one of the main artery roads within our neighborhood that we're speaking of that's going to have a lot of traffic. Second house in from Windmill Road going south. And I appreciate leaving the diagram up. Just wanted to let you know that that's approximately a little over 300 foot of property depth there that was zoned to be residential as part of the residential professional, we would hope, businesses. And there was a reason for that. I think it was to establish a wonderful buffer zone for more houses on nice property sizes such as the rest of ours in this neighborhood to be built in that area, thereby stimulating the value of the neighborhood as well. Meanwhile, also bring value to the professional businesses going out towards King Road. The other thing the council needs to consider is this is what the buyer is proposing is a pretty massive complex to put in on a road that comes off a road that has a high hump and a big drop down towards Carpenter Road. So in order to do this, you're going to have more traffic coming and going to these businesses, and you're going to have an issue. I see lots of accidents taking place. A lot of people wanting to cut through there, and it doesn't even save them any time. They can use the frontage road on the interstate. They can come down to Carpenter. That's all been upgraded. King Road is not upgraded for this type of traffic. So I think that is an extension to your development plan as well on this that has to be considered. And other than that, I echo everything the other 2-3 people have spoken with. And not to criticize the buyers' potential and so forth, but they don't really have a plan to change the zoning, to justify the zoning. And that's the thing. And we want to play ball here and play correctly. And that's what I'm bringing forward to today. Thank you very much.
Anyone else interested in speaking in opposition of the application?
Good evening. My name's Kim Mormon. I reside on 1603 Pine Needle Place, and single parent. Me and my kids are in this neighborhood all the time. We run, we bike, we try to stay active, stay away from COVID as much as possible. The increased traffic is already there. There's tons of people that run the stop sign already on Bowen Marchant. I myself was almost hit about a week and a half ago. I have to agree with the other folks that have spoken. I think if the plan was better put together and we knew what we were in store for, we could better support them. But we need them to support us as well. Make sure that our living isn't going to change because of retail development.
Anyone else interested in speaking in opposition? Okay. Yes, sir.
Thank you for the opportunity to talk to you. I'm not a public speaker. I'm 82 years old. Based on this diagram that I have received from the community development, I own the last 3 lots on Pine Needle Place. My house is located at 1504 Pine Needle Place, and I've owned it for 48 years. I'd like to have a different plan before I could support the rezoning. First of all, there has been a lot of disputes in the last 30 years over landlines and Slack Drive. As this diagram points out, Slack Drive is to come down beyond my property. I object to Slack Drive coming down. I thought it ended at Mrs. Lang's property 20 years ago. Also, if it was approved, I would like to have more than a 10-foot boundary between my property and other properties. I'm not in favor of additional traffic coming down Pine Needle Place or a boundary that's going to grow cherry trees and coniberry trees and pine trees that I have to pick up the limbs and pine cones and harbor snakes and other fox. There's fox, snakes, and deer on my property and on this pecan orchard property. I know this is prime property. I know it would make great development, but I'd like to have additional details on the exact plan behind my 3 lots before I can support this particular program. I've had my property, Dudley Click, 7 years ago, when he cut that timber on his property, he had it surveyed. And I went along with the surveying that was conducted at that time. Later, I had my other property surveyed. My plat and deeds do not show the diagram that I have here on this particular property. There's been a lot of disputes about landlines in the past. I've never been involved in any of these landline disputes on this particular area. But I plan to keep my property at Pine Needle Place, or either my daughter will move into it at some point in time. I cannot support additional traffic and other headaches that may come. Thank you very much.
Anyone else wishing to speak? Seeing none, that hearing is closed. If anyone was just here to hear that matter at hand, y'all are welcome to leave. Tomorrow, council's not planning to take any action tonight, but we will have our workshop meeting tomorrow at 5:30, and our regular council meeting and that's usually when they take action on the items being presented during the month, and that's going to be on the 18th at 5:30, same place, same time. So
Jessica.
Tomorrow and on the 18th.
Before we adjourn the public hearing, I do have a question, though, that's been brought up this evening, if that's appropriate to ask a question of the developer or of Nelson, Mr. Stafford or Mr. Coons. Excuse me. It was brought up that the neighborhood felt like they could be more accepting of a residential professional zoning designation on the back portion of the property. Is that an option for you at all? Is that something you've considered? The front is already zoned GB, so.
I did ask the owners if they would like to postpone the vote and see if they would do that, and they said that they would like to have the vote.
To move forward with the whole thing as being general business.
I did ask if they preferred to.
Go ahead and move forward. Okay.
I would like to say that we would have to do the zoning review on that to make sure that we don't have any issues with spot zoning. I just wouldn't
Sure.
want to make any promises that.
Okay. Okay. I just didn't know if that was even a consideration.
If it was already zoned general business, we thought this would maybe be the
Right.
most likely path to.
Right. Okay. Okay. I just wanted to ask that. Thank you. Did any of the other council members have any questions? Okay. All right, Jessica, I'm sorry, go ahead. Carry on.
So that hearing is closed, and if anybody would like to leave, we'll take a little short break, and then I'll introduce the next item on the agenda, the next hearing.
I would like to see a plan before we rezone something. I wish they had a plan put together. Yeah, then they might just.
Let's go.
Go ahead and move on to the second hearing that's on our agenda tonight. This public hearing is on application PP 210053, received from John Thomas, representing First Assembly of God of Tifton, LLC, requesting to rezone approximately 3.21 acres located at 1800 North Central Avenue from residential R12 to general business. The map and parcel number is T040071. All right, and after hearing that title, Council, I'm going to again ask the conflict of interest questions. All right, at any time, have any of these applicants or opponents to the application contributed at least $250 to any campaigns for election during the past 2 years?
No.
No.
Do you or any member of your family have a property interest that would be affected by the proposed zoning or reclassification of the property, whether in a positive or negative impact?
No.
Do you or any members of your family have a financial interest in any business entity that has a property interest in any real property that would be affected by the proposed rezoning or reclassification of the property, whether it is a positive or negative impact?
No.
All right, seeing no conflicts, council will participate in this hearing. Crystal will come up again and do the presentation, and then we'll take public comment.
Thank you, Jessica. Our second application also comes with a recommendation of approval from the Planning and Zoning Commission. The commission met on December 13th, 2021, reviewed the application, and recommended approval. Before we take public comment, I would like to review the details of the rezoning application. Application PP210053 for parcel number T040071. The site address is 1800 Central Avenue. The current zoning is R14 with a request of general business. The applicant is Pastor John Thomas on behalf of the First Assembly of God. The proposed development for this parcel would be to the ability to install a digital sign on the property and allow for future developments. That's why they are requesting the general business designation. Next slide. This photograph shows you the current sign on the property. The face would be switched out to a digital sign, and the digital sign would be just a tad bit smaller, but this gives you an idea of what the digital sign would be on the property. And this is along 20th. This is a view of the Potter's House, the daycare that operates on this property. And this is a view of the First Assembly of God, the building. Next slide. Thank you. The parcel is currently zoned R14. The other properties located on this block are also R14. The nearest parcel that is general business is closer to Tift Avenue, 2 streets over. Next slide. And this is a zoomed out view of the zoning. So again, where you can see that dot on the left-hand side of the screen, that is where the parcel in question exists. And then over on Tift Avenue is where you see the cluster of general business. So right along this subject parcel is generally R14 zone properties. Next slide. And the property is located within the residential character area. The comprehensive plan defines the residential character areas as established and stable residential areas with well-maintained homes and a high rate of home ownership. The density ranges from low to medium density with mostly single-family homes and also very few commercial uses mixed in. Again, the applicant is requesting to rezone to general business from R14 mainly with the request to install a digital sign and for future opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you, Crystal. Those who would like to speak in favor of the application? You have to state your name and your address.
Yes, I'm Pastor John Thomas, 1607 Hall Avenue. And we actually encountered this when we were in the process, what we had found out, because the church has been in existence on the property, owned the property since 1965, been in existence there since 1968, and existed, with no restrictions until there was mass rezoning back in 2012. We had no knowledge, none of us had any knowledge that we were zoned residential. Matter of fact, if you look at the definitions of general business, daycare is actually general business, and a daycare has existed there this year's 20 years. So there's been no issues from the neighbors in the surrounding area. So it gives us the opportunity where we've talked about being able to even have like a coffee shop within the church, but there's no ability to do that in a residential area. But a lot of the aspects of the church that have already pre-existed operate in general business, and we have no desire to infringe on other people's rights, and we don't have any issues. And matter of fact, where the sign is, there's actually a buffer of the playground, so the people that would even see the sign on the opposite side, there's a tree barrier and about 150 feet before the edge of the property there because of the playground. On the other side, there's a street across, and of course, if we all know 20th Street, it's always busy with lots of traffic every day heading towards the hospital. So That's what our desire is just to be able to modernize and adjust the visibility, and that's all a part of the application of the commitments that we said we would flow with and operate in. So we were going to file initially for a variance, which we knew we, legally we could, but this seemed to be the best route in order to not have to continue process and bothering y'all at every single step of the process to be able to accomplish those things. So.
Anyone else wishing to speak in favor of the application?
Hi, I'm Matthew Thomas. I've been a member of the church and part of the church staff since 2017. And I've been a member of the church since we moved here in 2011. I've lived here in the county for many years, and I've never really seen why there would be an issue on changing our sign out to a digital sign. So I didn't know that there would be any issue in moving forward in that regard. So I would like to see that we'd be able to modernize our facility. We're not planning on putting any big extravagant business or anything that would be much larger or much different than what already is there. So I don't see why moving forward would be a big issue.
Anyone else interested in speaking in favor of the application?
Good evening. Can you hear me? Okay. Anyway, I'm Carolyn Turner. I live here in Tifton, been in Tifton for 53 years. That's my church, and I'm very much in favor of us going ahead and getting our name changed and everything. A lot of people has asked us where the new church is going to be at, because they have always used that as First Assembly of God Church. That's where everybody's always known a home church. But I think with the new sign and the new things that we are representing, that we would get a better turnout with our church. But I'm very much in favor of it. Thank you.
I'm Nikki Raines, and I've also been a member of the church since I moved to Tifton 21 years ago, and I think that it would not be a problem, and I'm in favor of it. And I think that, like they said, we're not trying to change anything, and I don't see it would be, much more than what we're doing now, but I just want y'all to consider that, and thank you so much, and I'm glad to be a part of Tifton. Thank you.
Would anyone be interested in speaking in opposition of the application?
I'm not speaking in opposition, but I have a concern. So my name is Steve Cooksey, and I own the property at 1809 directly across the street from the drive going into the Potter's House. Yes. My only concern is the size and placement of this digital sign next to 20th Street. 20th Street, I think some of our local law enforcement refer to it as I-20, has become tremendously busy. And at present, when you go to that stop sign and try to pull onto 20th Street, the sign that's there now and the fence that runs along that line, especially it has a lattice work that comes down the fence. It's a little hard to see out on 20th Street. You inch out, inch out, inch out till your car is hanging out on the edge of the road before you can make the turn. So again, I'm not speaking against this church. I love that church. But I would be raising a concern about the size and placement of the sign. And I don't know how that works in getting that approved by the city council.
Crystal, is that something you could share with us with regard to the requirements? If the zoning is changed that would allow for the digital sign, what would the requirements be? I'm not sure what our sign ordinance says.
The size that they have proposed would be allowable if it were zone general business.
It is just a
It's actually a
size
couple feet
smaller.
smaller, so we can also have it moved where there could be more visibility, because it can go to the left of that, which, so it's overall, it's a smaller sign by a couple feet.
And right now, as the permit application's been submitted, the only hold is not the size, it's the zoning.
Gotcha, okay.
Well, since the fence was brought up, that is a terrible intersection. Try to, you do inch out, inch out, inch out, it's knocked off. We need to review, be sure where it is terrible.
Anyone else interested in speaking in opposition of the application? You don't have any?
Any questions, gentlemen? Okay, I think we're good. Thank you.
Close that public hearing.
Okay, thank you. So that does conclude the two zoning public hearings, and now we will have, move forward with the alcohol license hearings.
Right now, that is your district, go with the new line, to go down Central.
Oh, okay.
That's where I was.
Okay.
Thinking about the new line.
Okay.
And it goes down Central.
Gotcha, okay.
All right, the next item we have is an alcohol hearing for Spico, number 1. This is at the corner of Whitton Mill Road and Carpenter. And during the renewal process for 2022, we, in the application, Spico disclosed that they received a citation in 2021 from the Georgia Department of Alcohol and Tobacco for underage sales. This location also had underage sales violation in 2020, and their alcohol license was suspended for 60 days. Details of that violation have been provided to council from the store owner, and this is being brought before council tonight. Our staff, our city manager, chose to defer any action on this renewal application to the council for consideration. The owner is here tonight, and he presented today. I gave it to Mayor Smith. He is being represented by an attorney. His attorney was not able to make it tonight, but he is still here to provide information on that and answer any questions.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Alpesh Patel. As is mentioned about the Spigo one on Carpenter Road and Windmill Road corner. Yes, this incident happened twice in 2020 and 21, and we ensure that this never happen again. We educate the employees, and we pay attention that this never happen. We have inspection last week, and it's passed through with no issues. We've been doing that, paying attention on all that underage, minor kids. We don't need to sell it. So we check the IDs for all that require procedure or not minor sale again. So I ensure that it never going to be again in the future. As we mentioned on the letter with the attorneys, I just submitted with Ms. Jessica. That's it. Any question?
And she got a citation, and that citation was paid, and the information from the state is also in there. So I just want to let you know that was a clerk. Is Katie still an employee?
No, not right now.
She's not employed with you?
No.
We're gonna wait till tomorrow? Is he coming back tomorrow and then we're gonna question or?
I'd say let's go ahead and ask any
We have
questions this
questions
evening.
now?
Yeah.
All right, in 2020, you were caught, someone was caught that worked for you, and you had the selling to underage people. We suspended your license for
Correct.
60 days. A year later, now at that point, I don't think the person that did it was let go. I think if you're the one that I remember, let go. And then a year later, it happens again. I'll be quite honest, I don't understand. 60 days evidently didn't get your attention that we aren't gonna put up with underage drinking. Now somebody, and I don't know if it was you, we had several of them, and I had one owner call me and was all upset because that's a lot of your business. But it must not be so much that a year later you're doing the same thing. How can we be assured that you're not gonna be up here next January
Well,
with it?
sorry about that. I apologize for that, whatever happened for 60 days. Now, the employee is not more over there, but there's another employee. Should take it. There was a busy schedule at the Friday, and there was busy in the store, and suddenly it happened. So that's how we pay attention to check, because it's busy. It's a quick service location, so we have to do it a quick service. That's why this happened. So I just tell them, everyone, all the employees, make sure, doesn't matter how, you take your time, check the ID clearly. It never happened
The person
again.
that did it this time, now did you immediately let her go, or did she just not working out?
She was scared. She said she don't even want to work in that anymore because she don't want to handle this again. That's fine. That's her
So
job.
she left on her own?
Yes.
You didn't let her go
No.
for selling underage?
No. We never do that. I never do that.
You don't do that?
No.
Why?
She just was scared. She just don't want to do this handle again. So that's fine. We
So
recently
so
have.
they know that if they sell underage, you're not gonna fire them? Just one of those things, well,
No, I never fire.
and I'm suggesting that you probably should. So then, they understand this isn't gonna be tolerated, because we're not gonna tolerate
I
it.
just give them a warning.
But you tolerate it.
Just a warning one time. That's it. You don't need to be happen again. So educate them to watch the ID. Do not sell the minor.
But the other, Jessica, is this the one that did put it on the? Okay, and I applaud you and appreciate that you noted on your renewal that yes, you had received a citation, and I appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Jessica, I've got a quick question. In looking at the email from Shane Fulford with the state, with Alcohol and Tobacco Division of the Department of Revenue, he notes that there was an issue with the property at 20th Street, which we'll hear in just a second, but there were two, one on 1005 12th Street, that's Sheree J, and then this one at 1939 Whidden Mill Road, that's J. Sheree. My question is, what was the second number 2 in that email? What does it mean, failure to notify of actions?
That had
And
a
is that the
change-
same owner, just with two different names?
Not that I'm aware of. That's not who we have on file as the applicant or owner.
It's just unusual that the names are identical, but just flipped. So you don't own the property or the store?
No, property is theirs.
But do you own the store at 1005 12th Street?
No, this is only on 1939 Whidden Road.
But you have no involvement in the ownership of the store at 1005 12th Street? It's just the same name, it's just reversed?
Different, yeah. This is different location, but not me.
Okay.
And I didn't bring that one before because we never issued that.
Okay.
They submitted a change of ownership to the state and we.
Okay. I just didn't know if it was the same, since the names were the same.
No.
Okay.
Mayor Council, let me just add to, because the section 6-11 is violation of penalties in accordance with this action. Just so you know and you have knowledge, it shall be unlawful for any person to violate any of the provisions of this chapter. The following guidelines for the disposition of alcohol beverage license violations are hereby adopted. First offense within past 2 years, 30-day suspension and $150 reinstatement fee. Number 2, second offense within the past 2 years, 90-day suspension and a $250 reinstatement fee. Number 3 is second offense within the past 12 months, you have the ability to revoke their license. So that's accordance to the ordinance on action when it comes before you. Those are the 3 that would be applicable, and I think the first one was already a suspension of the license.
Okay. Any other questions concerning this particular issue? Okay. All right. Jessica.
I'm surprised I even spoke about that right, because I think I had the wrong one in my head. Alrighty, this is, and if there's any action, do you want me to just let Mr. Patel remind him? Do you understand that they're not anticipating making any action tonight? It would be brought forward tomorrow? Okay. All right, the second one that we have is Pepe's, which is located at 921 West 20th Street. During the renewal process, also, after Spigo had turned in that they and disclosed that they had violation from the state last year, I reached out to the state to see if there were any others, just to make sure that we were covering the base. And in that email, as you can see back from the investigator with the state, he also let us know that Pepe's had a violation. So they received basically the same letter, and I notated that the violation was not reported on the renewal. There's about 4 questions that it asks in our renewal process. Basically, is everything in your initial application renewal the same? Has there been any changes? If so, disclose those changes. And one is in reference to any violations. In the past year, have you had any violations?
And they answered no.
No. And so this is the same thing. They had an underage sale from the state, and when it was presented to the city manager, he has referred any action on approving their renewal to the council for consideration. So I will let Ms. Patel.
Good evening, this is Sangeeta Patel. I have a letter from alcohol beverage violation not reported in renewal. So generally my accountant fill up application and everything. So, and then when we signed, we did check and everything, but by mistake, I forgot check those part, overlook, and I did sign. So, sorry for that application.
Your accountant know that you
Yeah, but I didn't check.
The accountant did not know about the violation, and they filled out, the accountant staff actually filled out the whole application. And that's why the accountant was not aware. And that's why they filled out and sent it to us, but when she checked, she overlooked that information, and she thought everything is good, so she just signed at the bottom.
Well, let's move past that and tell us why you let them underage drinking again a year later.
Sorry, what was your question?
Underage, this is the second, had it in 2020
Yeah.
and again in 2021. Y'all are killing me. This is my district. Y'all are, and so why did you let it go on again in 2021 after we caught you in 2020?
I have in my system, check the ID and give it to
So she said that we have put our system place a system in our operations, that every time we sell tobacco or alcohol, we have to verify the information and put the date of birth. But apparently our staff overlooked that information and did it. We have put training and system and everything in place, but still they made a mistake, and I understand that their mistake is not okay. But still we are make sure that our employees are trained enough that this mistake should not repeated ever again. Because we have the short of staff and maybe less training or something happened, but we still want to make sure that in the future we train them enough, and we let the employee that made the mistake let her go right away, because that's not tolerable.
So the one that we caught you with, or state caught you in 2021, you let that person go?
Yes, sir.
In 2020, had you let that person go?
2021, 2021, did we let
Not fired. He quit.
Yes, in 2020 and 2021, both were two different employees, and we let go both employees because this is not tolerable, even though we have put the system in place.
Well, thank you for that.
Any other questions, gentlemen? Okay. All right, Jessica, I think we're good.
Thank you.
All right, so that concludes our alcohol licensing hearings. We're now on the other business on our agenda. Pete, do you have any report?
No, thank you.
City manager report? Okay. Any comments, gentlemen?
I'll wait till tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll wait till tomorrow, if that's okay with everybody. All right, seeing that there's no other business to come before the council, we are adjourned. So thank you.